The process of Satyamev was so difficult for me that I got hospitalized. And I had this conversation with Aamir. He called me and he said, you should step down. It's easy to make a song complicated. It's very difficult to make sophisticatedly simple music.
Bhushan ji had a view that Nadeem Shravan kind of sound chahiye. Rajkumar Santoshi Saab, who's the director, he wanted a A.R. Rahman sort of sound, and you said that there's a Ram Sampath way as well. How do you look back at that moment when a 25-year-old managed to say that?
The more difficult conversation was with Bhushan. I told Bhushan only one thing. I said, you listen.
What is more important for you, that number of hit songs or the fact that you've created songs which will be part of your legacy?
Well, I'm not interested in whether it's good or bad. It is real.
You've always been a rebel.
I appreciate if somebody has done something wrong, you call me and you tell me I'm sorry.
AI, what are your thoughts on AI? Is it going to be like a boon in a way for music industry, or do you think it's something that is going to be a villain of sorts?
I think AI is just a tool and it's a disruptor for a little while, but I think eventually it's going to increase the value of authentic music.
What is important of a good mix?
Actually, the funny thing with the mix is the perfect mix almost never works. Always an imperfection in a mix that makes it special.
What is your ambition now?
Wow, okay. Hi, this is Ram Sampath and you're watching Legacy Conversations with Faridoon Shahryar.
आज मेरे लिए बहुत ही एक स्पेशल दिन है। मेरे साथ में है राम संपत। मैं पहले बताना चाहूँगा कि राम संपत को मैं कब से जानता हूँ। मैं राम संपत को जानता हूँ सन 2000 से, एंड वन ऑफ द रीजंस मेरे म्यूजिक रिलेटेड कॉन्वर्जेशंस बहुत अच्छे होते हैं बिकॉज आई हैव आल्सो बीन एन एस्पायरिंग सिंगर, और मैं बॉम्बे में आया था सिर्फ म्यूजिक में स्ट्रगल करने के लिए, एंड वन ऑफ द पर्सन्स हु वाज एक्सट्रीमली नाइस टू मी वाज राम संपत. ही नेवर एवर डिस्करेज मी. मुझे उन्होंने नंबर्स शेयर करे, एंड मैं उनके स्टूडियो में मैं जाके मैंने उनका प्रोसेस मैंने देखा है, एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम द फैक्ट दैट ही इज़ अ लेजेंडरी म्यूजिक कंपोजर, ही इज़ अ वेरी वेरी गुड ह्यूमन बीइंग, एंड ये मैं अपने ज़ाती तजुर्बे से मैं कह सकता हूँ. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका ऑन बीइंग ऑन सिमियन हेल्थ प्रेजेंस लेगेसी कॉन्वर्सेशंस and for being so nice to me.
No, thank you for that introduction. That's very, very kind of you. I wasn't doing anybody a favor.
But I met a lot of people who were brutal with me as well. So in that context, the fact that I used to call you up because there was no mobile phone at that point of time, and you picked it up, and you were never impatient. I think that's something that was truly amazing, and thank you very much for that, first of all. All right, how has been your journey as a Bollywood music composer so far?
It's been interesting. It's been eventful. It's been full of big gaps because I think my approach, I think, is kind of unique. So it took me a while to find the right collaborators and the right people to work with, but it's been hugely rewarding, very, very rewarding. You know.
So as you were discussing that when you were doing Khakhee, Bachchan Saab ki film thi, and you're doing music for that, and so Bhushan ji had a view that Nadeem Shravan kind of sound chahiye, and Rajkumar Santoshi Saab, who's the director, he wanted a A.R. Rahman sort of sound, and you said that there's a Ram Sampath way as well.
Mm-hmm.
How do you look back at that moment when a 25-year-old managed to say that?
I would say it took a lot of, building yourself up, took a lot of courage and strength to be able to talk to both parties and sort of just state my point. It was obviously much easier with Rajkumar Santoshi because he's my director on the film, and he is melodically very, very strong, and he recognizes musical styles very quickly, and he's a superb director to work with.
Of course.
So I had a great time working with him on on Khakhee, but I think the more difficult conversation was with Bhushan. I told Bhushan only one thing. I said, you listen to what I'm doing. And if you don't like it, then we can always discuss it. But at least listen first, which he did, which he did. To be fair to him, he did. And the other thing, Faridoon, you know about me is that I think we're all just human beings. I don't address hierarchy. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I don't believe age or experience makes you immediately superior. It doesn't, every project starts at the same point, at zero. So I have a way of dealing with people which is, I think, unique, which is that I tend to treat everyone just as another fellow human being. Right. So I don't take that pressure. And I learned this because I started very early in advertising.
Exactly.
And I started dealing with a lot of egos and a lot of, a lot of feedback and a lot of rudeness, a lot of brashness, a lot of people who were extremely ill-mannered and cruel. And I think one of the lessons that it taught me is that it's to be kind and to be considerate and to take everybody's opinions on board is actually just good business. It's how you get a long career. I don't know if you experienced this, but I've never experienced anybody having a long career in our industry who is badly behaved.
No, I think that is, that's something which is, you have to be good with people. In fact, there's a very fine saying that during my struggle in 2000 that I saw on Mr. Louis Banks in his studio, that when you're moving up the stairs of success, be nice to people, because you'll meet the same people when you're coming down. So I think that's beautifully said.
Yeah, it is.
So you have to be, and you have to be good with people irrespective of what they can do for you.
Yeah.
So that's something which is very, very important.
And also the truth is, it's not, you take the stairs up, but you get thrown off the top.
Yeah.
So you need people who are going to help you catch you when you fall.
Right.
It's not the same. It's when your career starts petering out or tapering, the first thing that reflects on you is how you've treated people.
Right.
Because you get discarded. Because people remember how you treated them.
Of course.
How you made them feel.
Right.
So I think, that's just, and I think, we're raised a certain way. You're raised that way too. To be kind and to be a good listener, which is why you're here.
Healthcare anywhere. Simian Health focuses on improving access to care through technology.
Very important, and we learn a lot of things as well. Khakhee, when you were doing Khakhee, your first film.
First commercial film.
Commercial film. But the fact is that you were a very big name in advertising even at that point of time, because I still remember when I met you at St. Xavier's studio in 2000, and you were doing some of the biggest commercials even at that point of time. So when Khakhee happened, you had a bunch of huge commercials. So it was not like a music composer who was only focusing on Bollywood. You already were a very, very strong name within the industry, because within the industry, हर कोई जानता है कि that कौन क्या कर रहा है. So you had a certain.
Well, I don't know about that, because my focus actually till then was also non-film music, because I've always loved non-film music.
Tanhai.
Yeah, I did Tanha Dil with Shahan.
Tanha,
so Tanha Dil had two big hit songs, that had Tanha Dil and Bhool Ja.
Yeah.
Before that, we had done our first kiddie album, which was Loveology, and I learned from that, and I realized that if you want to become a pop star in India, you have to touch people's hearts.
Shamak Dava?
Then I did Jaane Kisne with Shamak.
Jaane Kisne?
Yeah, with Shamak.
Very fine song.
Thank you.
I love that song. Yeah.
So I did that, and I was very proud of the fact that I had non-film hits, because it's very tough to make non-film hit songs. And there were composers from my era whom I looked up to, like Leslie Lewis, and people like that who were doing pop music, and doing it at a very high level. Leslie's Pari Hu Main was a huge influence when we were growing up.
Sunita Rao.
Yeah, Sunita Rao sung it, and just a masterpiece of composition and production.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot at that time, and we were, I think, trying to push for a scene of independent music, non-film music. And I'm so happy to see it happening now. It makes me very happy to see that now we have non-film music stars as well.
90s was an era, late 90s especially, was an era that a lot of, the entire 90s was I think dedicated to pop music in a huge way. But a lot of the songs which became very big, they were not produced very well. Be it Bhool Ja, be it Tanha Dil, be it Shamak's number,
Jaane
Kisne. They were produced very nicely, even at that point of time, be it the rhythm design and the works, the progression and everything. They were produced very, very nicely.
Thank you.
So I think one of the reasons why they have stood the test of time is because they were produced very, very nicely.
Thank you.
And a lot of the songs, they fizzled out.
Yeah, I learned a lot actually on those records, because I ended up playing everything, because there was barely any money. So I ended up playing almost all the instruments. I think on Tanha Dil, the title track has a swarleen played by Rajinder Singh, plays the swarleen on that, and Jitendra Thakur plays violin on Bhool Ja. Those are the only two live instruments. Everything else is done by me. It's mixed by me. It's mastered by me. I mean, I learned a lot working on those records. I learned how to basically become not only a music composer, but a music arranger, producer, engineer. So it's when you're going through it, it's a very tough time. But when you look back at it, you're very thankful.
When it comes to your film career, for example, you've had some really big films right through, starting from Khakhee and Delhi Belly is something that is still known. You've had a Talash, which I personally feel that Jee Le Zara is one of the finest songs that I've heard in the last 20 years.
Thank you.
Vishal Dadlani at his peak, Javed Akhtar Saab, and the haunting, I think, desolateness in that song is outstanding. And recently, Lapata Ladies, very, very beautiful score once again. So you've had consistently delivered some really fine scores. What is more important for you, that number of hit songs, or the fact that you've created songs which will be part of your legacy?
Well, I think crucial thing for me is, first and foremost, do the songs work in the film, in the narrative of the film? Because I love to work with the screenplay. And I think music, the reason why, my heroes, whether it's S.D. Burman, Madan Mohan Saab, Naushad Saab, if you look at their work, it had this amazing ability to take the screenplay forward. You never felt like the film stopped. Like even today, if you watch Mughal-e-Azam, you never feel like the screenplay is like on hold because the song is playing out. There's always this continuation and this sort of connection. So I've always loved that. I've loved the songs and the film being one, which is why I loved doing songs and score. I've never done just songs, and I've only twice done score, like I did for Sitare because Aamir asked me to for Sitare Zameen Par. But otherwise, I always do songs and score because I love that. I love one sound coming at me.
Correct.
My favorite movies, whether it's Guide or Jewel Thief or even Dil Se, you get that lagan, you get that sweep because you get that connection through the film. Like one of my favorite films for that is Talapati, which is Mani Ratnam's film. Absolutely incredible score and music. Nayak and Talapati, those two also with Ilayaraja sir. It's just absolute genius. So that is where I learned my craft, and that is where I also get my love for Hindi film music. And in my mind, and this is the thing that most people don't understand, is I've done rock music, I've done non-film music, I've done advertising. But for me, I have a very deep love for Hindi film music and for Indian film music actually. So that connection for me is, I see it as a genre. I don't see it as, things didn't work out in non-film music, and then people say, yaar, kya kare? Film music is aakhir mein wahin pe jana hai, logical progression hai. But it's not the case, because also it's the pop music of India. So it's a beautiful sort of journey into film music. I love that. But it's also why I think my filmography and my discography is unique, is because I think the songs are connected to stories. They're not just songs, I think maybe you'll find a few in Khakhee, which are like, standalone, like, Dil Duba and Aisa Jadoo and things like that. But outside of that, almost everything is connected to a story. And a lot of the times also the situations have been very difficult. Like the Jee Le Zara is a very, very difficult situation to make a song for, because it's a lot of heartache, it's a lot of pain. And it's, you're trying to say what the script cannot say, which is my favorite place to be as a composer.
Correct.
Same thing with Sajni also. It's the reason why it works is because it's unsaid, and the song is saying what they can't say to each other. They struggle to say to each other. It's that beautiful moment in Lapata Ladies where what a phenomenal performance from Sparsh and from Natanshi, where that moment comes. Full English mein kahe. It's such a beautiful moment, and that really is the seed for the song. So when the song comes out of that, I think it's just a spectacular position to be in. But also there are if you think about Jee Le Zara, it was a very awkward place to make a song for, And the same with Chiraiya for Satyamev Jayate, for female feticide. And it was such a difficult song to make, because when Sona and I saw the footage because Sona was the associate producer with me on the music. She was working on the entire. I mean, Sona did so much of the back end work on Satyamev Jayate's music.
Right.
And we were watching all the footage together, and we just couldn't stop crying, man. The three of us, we would just keep crying because the footage was so depressing and it was so hard to take. And I remember the first day of shoot. Aamir will be the first one to say that he cries very easily, but that day was a heavy, heavy, heavy day. And a week before the shoot, we didn't have our song. And I was, the process of Satyamev was so difficult for me that I got hospitalized. Yeah, I was in hospital. I had malaria and typhoid both. And it was just a week away. It was about 10 days. We were 10 days away from shoot when I was hospitalized. And I had this conversation with Aamir, And again, that's what we are talking about, right? We're talking about how things, if you're destined to do something or you're not, वक्त से पहले और किस्मत से ज़्यादा, that kind of moment. And he called me and he said, do you think you can do it? Because a lot of people think for your own health, you should step down. You should get somebody else.
Right.
And at that moment, I said, so I was born to do this. And he was the one who then immediately, this is the thing that I'm talking about. There's a shorthand, right, that develops between people. So he said, ठीक है तो फिर तू ही करेगा और कोई नहीं करेगा. Can you imagine a producer like that?
No, Aamir is different. Aamir is very, very unique. There's no, and you also did the title track for Satyamev Jayate.
I did all the music.
Yeah,
and it was crazy. It was crazy. That whole process was crazy. So I came, when I composed Chiraiya, I finished Chiraiya in the hospital. Because I had the basic melody from a little earlier, and I finished the whole song in the hospital, and I sent it to Aamir. As na 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 na. This I had sung the song is Sona Sona, Sona Sona, and I had sent it to him. The whole melody, I had sung the whole thing, and he immediately, imagine a voice note, going to him, and he immediately said, "This is it. We've got our song." Swanand wrote it. I was literally given half day's discharge to go to the studio, record the song with Swanand, finish it, arrange it, produce it. And then we went to the floor, we performed it, and I came back to hospital. So that's the craziness of what we do. This is the business. And that song, I think, carries that journey of what we went through.
Very interesting.
But the pressure on that, Faridoon, I cannot even tell you, because that song was like going back in time to 80s Doordarshan. We needed a song that was going to work the first time you heard it.
Right.
Because it's at the end of this hugely emotionally draining episode, and we needed a song of catharsis, So the pressure on that song was so high that it's one of the, I think it's one of the highlights of my life, That's what I'm saying. I think my journey has been very blessed, and it's been extremely fortunate that I've found these opportunities.
Definitely. So since you're talking about Aamir, Bhaag D.K. Bose, I still remember that entire journey, and we spoke to Aamir when the music launch happened, and even apart from that. So the sort of controversy that happened because of Bhaag D.K. Bose. How do you look back at that? A fun number. You have to be really naughty to make a song like that, and a cult song. It will be there forever because it's so interesting and entertaining as well.
It's also very honest.
Honest in what way?
It's about life. It's about urban life. I don't think there's a more honest song I have worked on in my life about urban life and the run life that you live in this urban grind that the system puts you through. I think there's a real honesty in that song's lyrics. I think Amitabh Bhattacharya's written an incredible lyric. I'm very proud of the song. I'm not at all shy of saying that. I'm very happy to own that song, because I think it's one of the songs that really represents the spirit of also that kind of music, punk rock,
right.
And telling the unvarnished truth in a very sort of raw way, but in a fun way.
Do you write as well when you use a term like unvarnished truth? That's a very poetic term.
I think there's a writer in me. I've written a lot of English lyrics. Sometimes for the songs, I mean, I think there's a wordsmith inside every composer, and there's a composer inside every wordsmith. So words come. Sometimes songs come with words, and they sometimes they stay, sometimes they don't. It's always up to the lyricist. But I've never felt the need to because I don't think you should write in a language that you don't dream in. So that's why I don't write any Hindi lyrics. I tend to stay away from it.
Which language do you dream in?
I dream in English because I'm a convent educated boy. Mumbaikar, hardcore. But yeah, I dream in music actually. So it's not. There's not very few words.
Beautifully said. Okay, so when it comes to lyrics, for example, now you have a tremendous experience as far as advertising is concerned. Now copywriting is something which is very, very important. That those few words which are there, they have to be like really, really engaging. Many times, I don't think that copywriters, they get enough due.
Yeah.
Some of the jingles, they tend to be amazing. I being in North America, I've realized that the advertising work that happens in India is way more superior than what it happens in North America.
For sure.
Or like even a lot of other countries that whatever I've heard of, India, I think both the visual as well as the jingle element and the other aspects, they're way ahead in more ways than one. So आपका जो तजुर्बा lyrics जो copywriting का है, and then you are collaborating with writers for your lyrics for the songs, वो आपका क्या process होता है? वो जो words की जो एक अहमियत है, वो आप किस तरीके से उसको आप पिरोने की कोशिश करते हैं?
Healthcare anywhere. Simian Health focuses on improving access to care through technology.
This is very interesting because actually क्या होता है कि मैं बहुत मुझे बहुत ऐसे I think 2014-15 के बाद ये दौर चला जब lot of producers started making multi-composer movies. और मैं कर नहीं पाता हूँ. I can't do them. I struggle. I can't find a place in them because for me it's always down to the same thing. What is the screenplay? What are we doing at this point? And what is the sound of the film? So ये concerns जो है मेरे इतने भारी पड़ते हैं कि I can't really join in on that because this is the huge thing for me. And sitting with lyricists and working with them, actually I must tell you this: the writers and lyricists are my best friends in the industry. Much more than I would say musicians are. I'm very thick friends with musicians, but writers and lyricists are also very, very dear friends of mine. From Sridhar Raghavan from Khakhee onwards to Puneet Krishna and I worked on Bangistan. He went on to make Mirzapur, and so things like that. I mean, I have a lot of friends in the industry who are writers. Now the thing is, the way that you approach a song for me is very old school. Lyrically, one of the things that Javed Saab and I really agree on, which is I think goes back to Sahir Saab, which is that Hindi film songs are meant for everyone to sing. I come from that school. Hummable and एक sophisticated सरलता होना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर वो नहीं है तो फिर आप अंताक्षरी नहीं कर सकते. It's easy to make a song complicated. It's very easy to also make complex music. It's very difficult to make sophisticatedly simple music. And that's really my aim. That's what I try to do. That's my goal. That's if I can't, like for example, if I can't sing the whole song in one go, I tend not to go ahead. I don't think it's done.
Right.
I think that's the one thing that ties all my music together. I aspire to singability, and I aspire to a sophisticated singability. सड़क छाप नहीं लगना चाहिए, लेकिन लगना चाहिए कि यार गाना कितना सुंदर है, मैं भी गा लूं. So that I feel is my is where I come from, and therefore the words. So one of the marvelous things about working with Javed Saab or with Prasoon Joshi for that matter,
for title track of
Satyamev Jayate, the words have to flow. So for example, there will be no harsh sounds connected to each other. There will be open sounds at the end of each sentence.
Correct.
If you're working with Javed Saab, you're working with Prasoon, you're working with Amitabh Bhattacharya, you're working with Irshad Kamal, ये चीजें बोलने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ती. They already know the grammar of song, not the grammar of poetry, the grammar of song. So, like for example, जिस किस ऐसे कभी लिखेंगे नहीं, क्योंकि गाने में almost impossible हो जाएगा. जिसी किसी ऐसे भी ना, unless it's a fun song, unless it's used for effect, it won't be there. You know, so if you look at the words, the ease of the words. So we have we have different ways of testing it.
Like leaving it with a vowel.
Leaving it with an open sound at the end, especially if you need a goonj. If you're working on Jee Le Zara, it needs that Jee Le Zara. It needs the openness.
Okay.
So that I don't have to explain to an experienced lyricist, or I don't have to explain it to somebody who understands the craft of song.
Right.
The level at which we're working primarily on not just the meaning of the words, but how those words feel.
Correct.
So you should be able to sing a song without having to think about it. You know, like Swanand and Ori Chiraiya. The whole thing just flows. You don't have to think about the next word. That is, and for me, the point when the song is done is actually when you don't know which came first. Remember that song from Chupke Chupke? Geet pehle bana tha, ya bani thi ye sargam.
क्या बात है?
एक साथ बना था दो दिलों का ये संगम. You know, so that is really for me the craft of song. You should not know what came first.
And it's so beautiful. Someone like Rishikesh Mukherjee Saab, a guy from Bengal making a film like Chupke Chupke with the focus on Hindi, and that too like typical Hindi, like बहुत ही गाड़ी खालिस Hindi, and talking about this song, for example. And I think that's the beauty of India, the diversity.
Oh yeah.
It's truly outstanding.
Yeah.
Ram Sampath, having his roots in Tamil and Kannadiga and Maharashtra as well.
Yeah.
Making songs in Hindi at the same time, thinking in English and dreaming in English.
And I
genuinely believe that English is
can't get more Indian.
English is as much part of India as any other language. It's a very important language.
Of course. Yeah, and again, that's the thing. I'm not interested in whether it's good or bad. It is real.
Yeah.
If it's real, you got to take it and you got to move forward. I'm a big fan of reality. Not TV, just reality itself.
That's nicely put. Okay, आपने जी ले ज़रा का आपने 2-3 बार आपने जिक्र किया. Now, how is the experience when you have to get a fellow composer sing for you? Vishal has sung for a lot of people, and what a voice.
Yeah.
At the same time, what a personality.
Yeah.
Very unique personality with very solid views and a very solid person as well. So, how's that experience when you have to make a fellow composer sing?
Yeah, but I think Arijit's a very good composer too.
Yeah.
In a different way.
And producer as well.
Yeah, different. And music producer as well.
Yeah.
I think composition makes you a better singer. And it. At the same time, I've also worked with singers like Sonu Nigam, and Shreya, and I would have to include Sona in that as well, because actually the thing with a singer is, a song is done when it becomes their song. You can't hear another voice.
Right.
And I think that happened on Jee Le Zara. And Jee Le Zara actually was 2 takes. Actually, he came in the first day, Vishal, and he sang it, and both of us knew he was not in form at all. And he said, I need to take another shot. I'm going to prepare and come back, because I don't think I think he was going through something in his life at that point that kind of connected with the song, and it became too real for him. So he suddenly realized, oh, this is a heavy song. It's
Emotionally heavy song.
It's emotionally a heavy song. So he said, I need to live with the song, and I'll come back and do it. I'll come back and do it another day. And the second time he sang it, there was no lyric sheet. There was nothing. He knew the whole song. And that's when you have a good song. When the singer doesn't need a lyric sheet,
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And again, it's our friendship. We go back a long way. We're both from the rock scene. We know each other from our rock and roll days. And we have a lot of respect for each other. And he's just an amazing singer, man. So it's a privilege to be able to work with talent like that. It's a privilege to the same thing with Sona and Jia Lagena. She sang the song and it was done.
Right.
It's her song. Now I don't need to do anything more with that. It's the same with, I would say, Shreya Ghoshal and Dhime Dhime in Lapata Ladies.
What a song.
Yeah.
Someone like Shreya, for example, she has this tendency that she writes the lyrics of a song with her own hands and likes to keep the lyrics stored with her. Do you find that fascinating? And do you like the love that she has for the craft?
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing that it separates the good from the great. Is the good are making music and the great are making history.
Wow.
So she's very aware of her journey. She's very aware of the privilege that she has of composers seeking her out, and she never takes it for granted. And I think that's the thing that even Sonu has, Arijit has that, Sukhwinder has that. I mean, you can't have these kind of careers, you can't have these long careers unless you have that. KK had that too, I mean, that ability to come in, listen to a song and say, I need to elevate this. Like I have such an incredible memory of Sunidhi recording Aisa Jadoo. And it was like it was 3 semitones above her range. And I remember her saying, I'll need some time, I'll need 15 minutes. And she actually, I saw her doing vocal exercises and actually opening up her range, And those are the days when there was no auto-tune, there was no melodyne, there was nothing.
What are you saying, Aisa Jadoo?
There was nothing.
What a song.
Incredible. I mean, she was
like
incredible.
a rock feel to it.
Yeah, it is. She is absolutely, she nailed it. Yeah, she nailed it. And the dynamic range, right? So you have to be really loud, and then you have to go into the Jo Meri Zulfon Se Khele Re. It was all done in one take. Yeah. She was doing it real time. It's not like we did all the loud lines and then we did the soft lines. So that's amazing vocal technique. So I've experienced that through my life. I mean, like Dil Duba is a very tough song. It's got those octave jumps, Aashik hoon deewana hoon tere liye kuch bhi kar jaunga. And Sonu just
wow.
He just, and again, those
Aisa Jadoo ke liye meri request.
I can't sing it. Come on.
So aap lower scale mein kar.
No. You get her to do it. You get Sunidhi to do it. That's the right.
But what a song.
Yeah.
What a song. Okay. Now, देखिए, you've always been a rebel. जब आप खाकी की बात कर रहे हैं, and or you said that there's a Ram Sampath way as well, and then whatever happened in Krazy 4, there were 2 songs, and you just went to the court and you said that they have been taken from the jingle that you've done, and the court passed the judgment in your favor, and you ended up getting, I believe, 20 million rupees at that point of time.
Yeah, there's a 2 crore settlement.
Yeah, 2 crore settlement at that point of time, which was a lot. Now, मुझे याद है कि होता क्या है कि एक चीज़ ये होती है, एकदम इतने सीनियर कंपोजर हैं और कि उसका ध्यान रखना चाहिए था, जजमेंट्स पास होते हैं, and those are gossip stuff happens, and it's not easy to do it. A lot of people would have just let it go, and a lot of people do let it go. But
yeah,
you went ahead and you stood for it, and knowing you, considering that आपका जो advertising से you've been earning money for the longest period of time, and you've charged always a huge sum of money. So I personally, knowing you, that I don't think it was about money. It was more about principles for you. But battling those judgments must have been tough.
Yeah, I mean, it put me out of work for a good amount of time. Yeah, it put me out of work. Yeah, it put me out of work. Even winning over there had a downside to it. But having said that, I think the principle was, I mean, like you nailed it absolutely. It was about the principle. By then, Sona and I had built a strong publishing and licensing sort of system in advertising, where we used to license our tracks to brands, and I still do that. And the difficult part was that if I allowed this to go, then what happens to the rest of my licenses? With what face can I ask other brands for license fees? So that became it was a compromise to our principle, first and foremost, to the principle of what we had established, and that was one aspect of it. And the other aspect, I think, was there was no straight talk. Like I was telling you, I mean, I don't appreciate hierarchical conversations. I appreciate if somebody has done something wrong, you call me and you tell me I'm sorry. And we can sit across the table and we can settle it, But if you send some feelers through some third parties and you start playing games, then I'm afraid I'm not going to take kindly to that. And I think that's how we build trust. If you believe that I've said something nasty about you, I would expect you to just call me and just ask me straight to my face, Ki Ram, have you said this? And if I'm not a hypocrite and a liar, I'll tell you the truth.
Correct.
But that's how trust is built. Trust is actually, all work is done on a handshake. The real work, contracts and all that is great, but you don't want to go to court. Nobody sensible, nobody creative wants to go to court. And suddenly we got this, I got this reputation of being like this guy who's like very litigious or something. But I'm not. I mean, I really just want to be a creative person and I want to make music. But I also want to protect my rights, because if my music isn't worth protecting, then it isn't worth making.
Wow. Actions that you've taken. Many times people talk about a lot of things but they don't do it. They actually end up doing what is expected from them. So have you thought of writing and penning your thoughts into a book?
My big problem is I have a terrible memory. I barely remember anything. So it's like, talking to you has sort of revived some memories, and some things have come back to my sort of consciousness. But otherwise, I tend to be extremely vague about my life in general, because it's been over 5,000 commercials. It's been, so many films there. So much has been going on. So maybe I'll do it when I get the time. But right now I'm just too busy and having too much fun.
Okay, and AI. What are your thoughts on AI? Is it going to be like a boon in a way for the music industry, or do you think it's something that is going to be a villain of sorts?
I think AI is just a tool, and it's a disruptor for a little while, but I think eventually it's going to increase the value of authentic music. I think it's going to change the live paradigm completely. I think more and more people are going to seek out the real thing, live music. It's going to be fantastic for the industry, because look, I had this amazing experience with a little child. My friend had brought his daughter over to the studio, and my friend Sanjoy Das, the great guitar player, was playing guitar, and she's a 6-year-old, and she saw it and she said, "Papa, magic." Because she was hearing it for the first time, a beautiful guitar being played, like literally she's hearing it and she's seeing it in real time. So there is that effect of music, and live music has that effect on people, on audiences, and that value is only going to go up. The authentic, the real thing, the real handmade music and the handmade art is actually going to go up in value. So I think people will be able to discern and make choices for themselves. And we've already got a word for it, which is AI slop, which is content that's generic. And generic music was always being made, so it's just like sort of music. There's terms for it: muzak, elevator music, whatever you want to call it. But the truth is that generic music, certain kinds of very, very predictable, boring, mediocre music will lose its value, and I don't see anything wrong with that. So I see it only as a tool. I see it as sort of the next expansion of creative possibilities, but it's not going to take over. It's very poor. And you're already understanding that it's very poor at context. So at the end of the day, all that we've been discussing is songs in a specific context, and those contexts are so uniquely human. And my response to them as a composer and the lyricist's response to them as a lyricist are so uniquely drawn from our own lives that it's just too far. It's too far a leap for AI to contribute in that. So I personally feel very, very safe. Yeah, but if you want just to, if you say, throw up a generic 6/8, dance track like that other song, you might just get something, But I think that's already lost its value.
What is important of a good mix?
A good mix in what sense?
Like in terms of the final output that anyone is going to be hearing, maybe in their ears whatsoever. So because as you mentioned, that's something that you've always been very particular about.
Yes.
Some of the songs they are mixed like really badly, and you can make it out as well.
Yeah. Okay. So technically, all right. So I'll tell you the two aspects. Mixing a song is an art and a science. So it's a very very sort of odd distillation of both fields, which is why engineers are called sound engineers are called sound engineers, because we are also working very specifically with frequencies. But sound engineers are also working with emotion, right? So if you talk about, say, a song like, what is the best example I can give you? Segal blues. Now, say, going back to Delhi Belly, or if you want to use the example of Lakh Duniya Kahe, which is the last song on Talash. Now, it's a very emotional song, and it's so Lakh Duniya Kahe and Segal blues. I'm just using them as examples, but essentially, Lakh Duniya Kahe, you want the emotion of the song to move you from. It's a sukoon wala gana, It's a song that's supposed to give you peace and supposed to help you heal. So you look for different frequencies, actually. You look to elevate different frequencies. You look to elevate different aspects of the mix. And you want to use dynamics very effectively. You want to make things loud and then soft, and then loud and then soft. And you want to kind of make that, you want to make the song work in waves. And I always feel that a lot of songwriting and a lot of song craft and a lot of mixing is actually about waves. It's about dynamics. It's about tension and release. So it's like, you hold back and you hold back and you hold back. There's a lot of tension. And then the chorus gives you that release, So I always tend to, say, for example, add a little extra reverb at the end, at the release point, So if you hear, oh Sajni re, there'll be an extra tail over there. That's the thing I love to do. I love to add that sort of release at the end of it. And there'll be lesser reverb in the verses, and we'll build up and we'll come to the chorus. And then there'll be that expansion of because it's all emotion. You're trying to tap into an emotion, right? So like, for example, if there's even a simple thing like, oh, that's at the back. So that just goes back a little bit. It gets a little more space. It gets a little more haunting feeling to it. So you're just trying to work with as much dimension and as much depth as possible. Then you're trying to make sure that the singer is always the hero of the song. For me, in scores, the dialogue is the hero. So you have to work with the dialogue, and I love working with the dialogue because the dialogue is actually telling you where to go. And sometimes the dialogue is actually not saying what should be said. So the score is actually doing the talking. But at the same time, the dialogue is still the hero, right? So you have to work in the spaces. You have to find the spaces. You can't overwhelm the dialogue with music. So you have to time each scene, and all of that training I got obviously from advertising. To be able to time a scene, to be able to figure out what is the right tempo and how the music builds. So all of, writing score is it's a delight. I just love it. Faridoon, I cannot tell you how much fun it is, because it's one of the great thrills of life to read a story. And right now I just finished, actually I was telling you this, I just finished reading a script about 3 days ago, and I was writing music non-stop. So I wrote about 40-45 minutes of music in one stretch, like 2-day stretch. It just came out of me because it's the script kind of, it's my first instinct. And it's a film I'm working on right now, I can't tell you. Yeah, but it's going on right now. But that's the great gift that life has given me, and I never take it for granted. One more thing I have to tell you about the mix, and this is a very interesting thing that he's brought up. Actually, the funny thing with the mix is the perfect mix almost never works. There's always an imperfection in a mix that makes it special. There's either one instrument is a little too loud, or there's a crackle in the voice, or there's, like, for example, one of the interesting things about Jee Le Zara is that Vishal had a cold the day that he sang it. So part of the reason why he sounds unique on that song is because my sound engineer worked really hard to cover the cold. So these unique things kind of happen along the way when you're working on something. Like for example, Chiraiya was a very difficult song to mix. So was Mujhe Kya Bechega Rupaiya on Satyamev Jayate, because of the fact that we were now mixing it for TV. So we had to do a mono mix because it was Doordarshan and it was going across the country. You know, so all the advertising experience that I had, that was very useful over there. You know, but those mixes are all extremely vocal heavy. The vocal is much louder than I would normally leave it in any other mix.
That's wonderful. Okay, so how's the experience of collaborating with Sona? You guys are very unique individuals in your own right, and you've collaborated extensively. So how's that experience?
It also helps that we're married. Yeah, but I think as a partner, I couldn't have found a better partner in terms of being supportive, in terms of being sort of the yin to my yang. You know, we make sense with each other. Maybe it's fire and ice, whatever you want to call it. But she is a very high integrity person. She is very clear on what she likes and she doesn't like, what she believes in and she doesn't believe in. We share a common set of values. So that makes, I think, the difficult parts of life, it makes that much easier when you believe in the same things.
Right.
Outside of that, I think in terms of artistry, she's exceptional in what she does. She's crafted her own live experience. She's amazing live. She has an amazing band. She's really put together a great, a sort of style of storytelling in song, and she presents such a wide, diverse array of music that it only makes me feel extremely proud. And I feel like I'm the boss in the studio, and she's the boss on stage, so that we don't step on each other's toes.
Okay, what is your ambition now?
Wow. Okay. My ambition now is to enjoy the day. That's it. I have no other ambition. Everything else, I leave to a higher power. I'm here with you today. Today is a fantastic day. That's all I care about.
The fact that you started working at a very early stage, does that have anything to do with that? Because you worked like anything, and like from 18 onwards, which maximum people in the world would not do.
Yeah.
And making ad jingles is not an easy thing. It's like I've seen you in the studio like day and night.
Yeah.
So does that anything to do with that? Maybe you want to enjoy yourself more now?
I think so. I think so.
Right.
I think so. It's been a lot of work, Faridoon. You're right.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of work. I've been working professionally. I turned professional composer when I was 16. I started doing a lot of work when I was 17. And by 18, I was already doing a sizable amount of advertising work, and it's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. There's a lot of hard work, and I feel that the most important thing is to enjoy the process. They say the constant conversation is about whether is it about the journey or is it about the destination. Actually, it's about what you become on the way to the destination. It's neither the journey nor the destination.
That's beautifully said. That's the book that is there inside you. All right, so Ram, thank you very much. It was truly a very enlightening conversation, and absolutely loved just listening to your thoughts, because first of all, they're coming from a very unique individualistic space, not trying to please anyone, but at the same time, you're an extremely humane person, and that's very unique in its own way. So thank you for sharing your very unique thoughts. All the best wishes for the enjoyable ride ahead, and I hope that you have a fantastic time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Faridoon. Thank you for having me, man. It's been a pleasure.
So that was truly a wonderful and unique conversation with Ram Sampath, and I'm sure that anyone who loves music and is a music student and aspiring to be in music, I think they will have a wonderful time learning from this conversation. This is something that I can very safely say. Thank you very much.